Wow, guys, who watched the game last night?
You don't say.
Was that a World Cup final or was it?
You know, there is this saying that the pressure is for World Cup. Like we use it a lot. Last night, that saying really came to pass.
You guys, in our house, I was the only one supporting France.
Oh.
And everybody else, including the children, their father, everyone, Argentina!
Yes.
So in that case, you're my friend.
I knew there is.
I can feel the pressure you had. For me, I know my wife as an executive director, but I could not understand my wife anymore. She made somersaults. She shouted on top of that. I was like, what's going on here?
Argentina!
Because, let me tell you, a leader is naturally attracted to a fellow leader.
Mm-hmm.
Argentina had an amazing leader in their captain.
Oh, wow.
Yes. The guy just commanded the match. Come on, please, don't go back to that discussion. You know what happened with me, with us last night? So Mr. Isaac was on his one side of France and what, and then he ended up prophesying, Siju, we are going to go into penalties, what. I said it's okay. I'll support my Argentina. Now the prophecy came to pass. We ended up in penalties.
You could have made money if you betted.
What I loved how he transitioned from the prophesying the win and the excitement to coiling in the corner and refusing to talk to me and refusing to look at me and refusing to eat food and then all of a sudden I said, who has my phone? I need to go to my bed. What, like, the only, like, literally, we couldn't have a proper conversation. And then he started to go on the WhatsApp group to start and say, I don't understand this woman anymore.
Then how was it in your household?
In my household, all of us were supporting the winning team.
Boring.
Yes.
Did you support it after scoring the first goal?
No, actually, that has been our team from the beginning. So,
Boring.
So
Fiona, you mother of boys.
I'm mother of boys. I had a team of France and a team of Argentina. I personally love Messi, but I loved France because it had so many dark guys, and they were very good looking. So I had, okay, I'm supporting France, and now I'm supporting Argentina. And then finally, when we were getting into the penalties, I said, no, I'm an Argentina fan. Because the goat has to take that. The goat has to take the trophy. So finally, the goat took the trophy. You should have seen the dancing in my house.
Meanwhile, I didn't know what the word goat means. I
you were
kept
wondering,
to start using
why
it.
do they call Messi the goat? And what does the whole goat
you know what?
mean?
It is my 13-year-old who had to let me know what God is in full.
Greatest of all time.
And I was very shocked. I was like, so God. So
Why are they calling a man a goat?
why are they calling a man? Because really, in terms of performance, God sang and let's call him a horse or something.
So we've successfully, as an organization, got a new acronym.
We are goats.
Hey,
Actually, at the end of next year, we should have a
but
goat.
that final,
Yeah.
I was on tenterhooks. I was standing up, pacing. Like at some point, we were all standing in front of the TV, and our TV sort of mounted up there. So we're all like this. Nobody was sitting. The dogs were barking. They didn't know what was wrong. The house dog thought somebody was sick. The dog outside was pacing. Is something happening? Should I be rescued? Anyway, guys, we were here to talk about our year. 2022. What a year.
What a year.
What
And I
a
think that the final yesterday was really a great summation of what life this year has been. Many unpredictable events and a lot of pressure in different spaces. And also you could, there are many people, I feel, we have shared this internally with the staff, where you kind of would feel like there is struggling and a fear to fail, and yet that's just this big comeback, and so I think really the World Cup summed up the year. There's
in
so
a
many
really
lessons.
nice way. Anyway, so are we going to talk about that here, or move on to a counter? It's been such a cold day. I just want to wrap up.
Me too.
So this winter has come to us.
We have winter. I have my winter boots on.
Annabelle, tell us 2022.
2022. What a year. This year has been amazing. I really want to thank God for the opportunity to serve and to just continue the whole mission of the Remnant Generation, where we are really about rescuing and restoring and walking a journey of empowerment and healing for girls that have been sexually abused and teenage mothers. One of the things that I've loved about this year is that our faith levels have grown so high because we have been tested. The waters have been rough, but yet we have really come together as a family to pray, and I believe God for all the miracles that we have seen this year. We have seen tremendous growth. We're able to open up a new location in Luka this year, where it, Busoga region, where it is recorded that they had the highest numbers of girls that were being sexually abused and teenage mothers in 2020, and 2021 due to the COVID lockdown. And I'm thankful that we were able to hear God and just really walk by faith and get into that new space, and many highlights. So I'm really looking forward to our sharing today with all our friends and partners, so that you get to experience what it has been like for us as the Remnant Generation family and as Fathers Arise in 2022. And maybe before I hand over back to you, I really want to thank God that I'm still married.
How many years now? 11, you said.
We make 11.
Yeah, we're going to make 11. We're going to make 11 in February.
See, we've been keeping count.
Yes,
so we know.
but this last week, Isaac turned 40.
Happy birthday!
It's
on the fourth floor now.
Yes, I feel like I have to now talk about that a lot because he doesn't look 40, and then it's just so that I can feel like I'm younger.
Which you are.
Yeah, really thanking God for life, and this week is my birthday.
Oh yes. Okay. So now you know. 23rd December is her birthday. Send us some gifts. So, well, before you get off, before we even get into that, this year, you first of all went off on an amazing fundraising trip to the US.
Yes.
We saw God move in ways we'd never seen him before. Tell us about that trip. Like just a few highlights. Whom did you meet?
Yeah.
What was it like?
So, the trip this year was really interesting because it was the longest that I've ever had. It was a solid 8 weeks away from office, and I was in over 12 states this time round. I really want to appreciate our partners, Compel Global, and our amazing friends, Mark and Jody Dan, that people that really made sure that this trip comes together. And I was in very many new states that I've never been to. At the onset of the trip, I left an office that was on their knees, praying because we had just received an eviction notice by our landlord that we cannot stay. We needed to raise money that was over $180,000, and we had a very tight deadline that was in about 4 weeks, and there is no way we could have made it. But on this particular trip, my first stop was in Ohio, and we together were able to meet up our team of friends, Abazams, and guess what? Just God did what only God could do. We were able to get all the money that we needed to get the Remnant Generation office.
Oh, that was amazing.
That was an amazing miracle. I remember Eva continuously texting me and saying, Idi, what's the plan? And it's like, the plan is God. The plan is God. I got to meet amazing friends in Arizona. I was hosted by amazing families. I kept on posting and showing you all, my beds where I was sleeping, how people were treating me so nicely. And Isaac was feeling so jealous because he didn't come along with me on this trip. But during the same time, he was in Canada. And some amazing things happened in Canada. So tell us about Canada.
Wow, that's a long story, but I'm trying to make it short. So I left Uganda, going to Canada. In the first place, I didn't know anyone there.
Oh wow.
But before then, I didn't have an invitation, and Mama Christina, thank God for Mama Christina, Impact Nations, who graciously spoke to Papa Steve. Mama Christina had visited Uganda, so that they had come to visit us at the house, and then I told her, you know, I'm going to Canada. She was like, oh, where are you going? I told her, I'm going to Ontario. Okay, where? Somewhere. So, but it was a conviction I had on my heart for a long time that I had to travel to Canada, but I didn't know where and to whom I had to go to. I just surrendered everything to God. Long story short, I went to Barrie, Canada, under the invitation of Pastor Adam. He's a very amazing gentleman who hosted me so well. He had just, the deal was for him to just write an invitation, but I got to Canada and came picked me up from my hotel, took me to his church, introduced me to his church members, gave me time to speak in church. Wow, it was such an amazing thing. And from that speaking in church, that sparked so many other opportunities that came along the way. I got to meet people like Larry Law. Larry Law is a businessman who saw the mission of God and Christ so much. He loves people. He has a testimony all over Barrie and Collingwood, where he's from. And Larry Law came on board to support the mission of Fathers Arise. That was so amazing. And also he came in at a time when Impact Nations was doing a health campaign for remnant generation. Said, oh, I also want to be a part of that. So it was such a great opportunity. I met amazing men and women of God who are also looking and seeing how they can walk a journey with us. So yeah, my trip to Canada was such an amazing trip.
And it has given birth to so many amazing things and connections.
Sure.
And maybe also because a lot of people watching us have probably not heard of Fathers Arise before. And they're thinking, where is that coming from? I remember 2020, middle of COVID, I think the first lockdown or something, after the first lockdown, and during the lockdown, all we heard on the news was children are not safe in their homes anymore. Girls are being abused, boys are being abused, fathers have abandoned their homes. It was a complete mess. Everybody would have thought that the children being at home, they were safe. It turned out schools were safer than homes. And every time we talked about our work, and we'd be telling people, oh, we're rescuing girls, people would ask us, but where are the men? What are you, so you rescue the girls, and then what happens with the guys? And so I remember Annabelle, I think with Isaac, we sat down and we had this idea. Fiona was actually the mastermind of this, I remember. So we sat down and wrote a concept, and we said, okay, let's get men to stand up and say, I'm saying no to fatherlessness. I'm saying no to abuse. But we needed men who have a voice in the community. We needed men who would be listened to by different age groups. So we reached out to businessmen. We reached out to entertainment guys in the industry. We reached out to pastors. And then we had this sit-down conversation in September of 2020. And I remember it gained so much traction. But along the way in 2021, I think we sort of dropped the ball, but then...
When we were giving birth, we had babies.
All the girls that had been abused were giving birth. And then we realized that the men issue was so big. And we just couldn't handle it as Remnant Generation alone. Thus, Fathers Arise, separating and being birthed early this year, and Isaac taking it on. So I think
and it's been an amazing journey with a lot of good times and low moments, but it's interesting and it's encouraging to see what God is doing.
So how has it morphed now? What from the original idea, has it changed much? What is it now?
To be honest, every problem that we are trying to solve has a man in the equation.
Mm-hmm.
And you solve the man problem, you solve the problems in this world. Because when you look at the girls that are being molested, the fathers that are abusing their own children, I can't imagine being a father and you're abusing your own daughter. Then you want to think about it. We are dealing with a generational issue. We are dealing with something that has taken on for years, and people have to find a space where they can detox, get these things off their mind, and find a space where they can now think a new world, a world where men are taking full responsibility. I want to thank God that Fathers Arise, we began with working with young men, because these young men are growing into men, boys to men, and these men are the ones that are going to become fathers, because they will marry someone else's daughter. And but what kind of fathers are we going to present? So we work with young men, we have discipleship programs, we have mentorship programs. We brought men that have spoken to them, and we are seeing transformation in their lives. Most of them have given in their time to even be taught a skill, because they realize that an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So we try as much as we can to make sure that we add something that makes them be busy all day round. And also the idea we're using is making disciples. So we tell every young man we walk a journey with that we are making you a discipler. Not only a disciple, but a discipler. So the same way I was discipled and now I'm discipling you, I expect you to look for someone else that you are going to disciple. So it's hard for them to forget what they have been learning over the years. The same happens with men. So we work with the men who are in their homes, because fathers, the reason why they are not in their homes, or that we have fatherless homes, is because most times men have a lot of emotions they have not processed. They go through issues in their life and they don't know how to address them.
So they just run away.
They just run away. We have that ego in us. I got it. It's like, because we are men, so you don't want to share. There is this norm that being vulnerable will make you less of a man. So I at least we try to address that and make sure that we are totally transforming and changing the mindsets of men. So we've created a space called Sink or Sail.
Sink or Sail.
Yes. Sink or Sail with like, if you picture a ship that was meant to carry 60 tons, carrying 100 tons. It will not sink across, sail across.
It will not sail,
So if it is already sailing and they discover the problem is to begin offloading.
To offload.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
To go back to your capacity, and then that is how you can sail across. So men come there when they're heavy with a lot of things, and then we share, fellow men share, because as you share your problem, someone else has gone through it, and then be vulnerable and try as much as you can to be to find accountability partners that are going to help you to walk the journey. And it has been an interesting thing to do. We've seen lives being transformed and men walking back to go back to their families.
How many men have come to that space?
So far we've worked with 83 men.
Wow.
Yeah, the first Cinco Cell we had 63, and then the last one we had 83. So that's how we see the addition, that 83 men at least have come, because we've had two editions this year, and we're looking forward to a better 2023 in that line. Yeah, it's an amazing journey. Myself, I'm glad that I managed to share part of my story, because the best way to do it as a leader in this was to open up and share some of the vulnerable parts of my life where I would be really, Isaac, are you sharing this? We're like, yeah, I have. And that helped to open up other men's hearts to freely share certain things that are really, you're like, oh, wow.
It gets me thinking about this guy that has just committed suicide.
I know.
How they pronounce the name?
Twitch.
Okay. You don't want to know how I was pronouncing the name. I'm glad you're here. So Doris gets all our English correct, yeah?
Yes.
So it is what?
Twitch.
Okay. So
It's really sad.
I used to see him, and I love dancing.
Yeah.
So I would really follow, some of the shows that what they were doing and for the dancing and everything. And he had such a beautiful family.
Yes.
And only to see him like go like that.
Actually shot himself.
He shot himself dead. And just to realize that men are equally vulnerable. Our sons and boys are dealing with a lot of issues, and they don't know how to process those issues. And I'm grateful for spaces like this, because then that opens up. You don't find them in church fellowship groups. You don't find them in when they are meeting, they're talking business and soccer and lots of things.
Yeah.
But getting to talk about the challenges of abuse and dealing with drug addiction and overcoming painful experiences, that even mourning. Some people have lost children and they don't know how to recover from that. And I'm really thankful that there is a space now. And
Wow.
Just to leave it up, about that, there is an Annabelle. I don't want it to go without saying, I want to appreciate a gentleman called Evan Money. Evan Money is from California. I got to know about him through Compare Global, and wouldn't have had Compare Global without Mark Dan.
Wow.
So it's like a chain.
It's a chain.
Yes. So Evan Money, he has main programs that he does. So he always calls in for mentorship. He mentors me, tells me, hey, prepare this way. This time, do it this way. So, and it has really helped me a lot. Everyone needs a mentor. Like some of these things, you cannot do it by yourself. And I won't take the credit for like I did this myself. Someone else has poured his life into me to mentor me to do this.
Wow. We could go on and on talking about men, because it's been everybody's asking, where's the boy child, where's the boy child? We paid too much attention to the girl child, and I'm glad that now we finally have something to say and do about it. It's not just words. And Fiona, I want to bring you into this conversation because you're a director of programs, and literally all these fall in your space. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and ask you, especially about the new program called Jewels of Honor. I'm trying to link that to what Isaac has shared about the men, and just tell our audience just a little bit. Then we get back into the real gist of the word of the question.
Jewels of Honor is basically a program that is our baby program. It started in November this year. Yes, November this year. All along we have wanted to have something tangible, something solid that we show we do with girls that have been sexually abused. We are known for working with teenage mothers, and we always wanted to do something directly with the girls that have been sexually abused. So Jewels of Honor basically works with those girls. We are working with prostituted girls, prostituted women. Currently in Kampala we have a shelter that accommodates 20 girls, and then in Lyantonde we have over 56 women who are already on the program. And what we want to do with them is, after rescuing them from the brothels, we have a program that we are running with them, just to make sure that they are living a decent life and earning money decently. Many of them think that is the only thing they can do. It is the last resort. Actually, they say, we don't need capital to do this. And me working as a prostitute is not bad. I mean, there is nothing with me selling my body. I don't need money. I don't need a space. There is nothing hard for me. Yeah, I don't have to parent. It's just me going 5 minutes and I'm done. And I'm earning my, yes, I already have capital. I'm earning my money. I can actually earn more than you do a day. If I sleep with just 3 men and each of them is giving me 150,000, I'm 450,000 shillings rich at the end of the day. But with how much risk are you earning that? We were sharing, there was a time we were sharing, we had a dialogue with them in November when we were opening up. We had a dialogue here in Kampala, and we invited some women and girls just to share about the challenges that they face. I remember some of us actually crying that day because of the stories that we were hearing. Men are coming with STDs, untreated, some have passed and then they want to sleep live with these women, some have been strangled, women have babies with fathers that they do not know of. They actually have to pay on a rent on a daily basis. So sometimes you end up just paying all the money that you have earned a day as rent, because sometimes you don't even get a customer, but the landlord will make their 10,000 on a daily basis. So it is with such hardships.
What do you mean they have to pay rent on a daily? In the house they live in, or what?
They live in the brothels. They are rented spaces where they basically sleep. It's just a single room that you have. There is one where they sleep, and then the other where they take the customers. So you find yourself paying 20,000 a day, because they want their beds to remain clean. That is what they say, clean and neat. So they don't take them to their rooms, but they take them to the business rooms. Yes. Wow. So every man that comes goes to the business room. Now, because of those hardships, some really wanted to leave. They wanted to find something better to do. They wanted to live a decent life. They wanted a change. It was just too much, but they did not have anyone to basically walk the journey with them. So when we started the program, we had many coming. Yeah, currently we have 7 girls that are resident in the shelter. We have even older women who had never had a chance of someone speaking to them about living, but they were just waiting for this opportunity to show them that there is a different way we can live life. And there are women, actually 5 women now, who are in the hairdressing class, and they are very passionate about learning. They are always there by 8 a.m. and we give them breakfast. Sometimes we give them lunch if the class is overdue. And then I actually went to the Antonde last week, and they trained the 56 women in alternative business. Yes, maybe then I would like to tell us about their experience in Lyantonde with the women. There's something that you did.
Yes, we went to Lyantonde and trained the 56 women who are really passionate about leaving prostitution and going into more decent forms of livelihoods. And as we were discussing with them during the training, it hit my mind that most of them, they are doing prostitution not because it is something that they like, but they are working hard to ensure that they are able to sustain their children. So it was, at some point you would really feel that they don't have these opportunities, and if for remnant generation to come in and provide these opportunities for them, like Fiona has explained that we already have those that are passionate about hairdressing and doing the saloon and being able to take on catering to raise money to help their children. It's a very big opportunity, and many of these ladies, those are some of the things that they were sharing, that if they can be availed these opportunities where they can have those something decent jobs, they are willing to live this kind of life.
I'm reminded, sorry to interject, I'm reminded of a story that we met of girls in the Antonde, that this particular girl had been trafficked from Rwanda and ended up in the Antonde, and they didn't know how to get back to Rwanda. So they got stuck in the truck area. There is this whole place that is known for trucks, because the Antonde is a transit center. And so she ended up just being introduced to this whole sex work thing. And it's not just in the Antonde, it is happening even in Kampala. Like literally girls are being trafficked from different places in the villages, promised work. We have a very common hotel here in Natete, where we have been, and we have all been shocked, where girls are literally, when they are brought in from the villages, promised to come and work as waitresses. They are actually locked into this hotel and they are not allowed to step out. But what they do is they have to, parade themselves, and men will come and take bets on them. There is a sauna and a steam bath, and so they have to serve these customers, massage them, and in exchange of at the end of the day, they have to give their bodies as well. And the money is literally what they make is to sustain the hotel, because like Fiona said, they are paying the hotel rooms for them to have accommodation. And so in the Antonde, when we met this girl, and she was there, she was literally crying and sobbing. It's like, I don't know how to go back home. I don't know where to go. I don't know where else to start from. This is all I have known. And she remembers that by the time she was brought to Kampala, she was, rather to Antonde, she was only 8 years old.
How old was she now?
She was around 17, 16.
She was 16.
Yeah, she was 16. And then there was a grandmother who was also, you know, was into commercial sex exploitation, her daughter, and then her granddaughter, they were all like 3 generations of women in this commercial sex exploitation thing. And sadly, all of them living, you know, with HIV, and then the granddaughter was pregnant as well. And they just didn't know what else to do. And then the mother's heart was so broken because she had no idea that her daughter had also been recruited. But yet, some of the women that knew her and her daughter literally lured the girl into the business without getting the mother to consent or even to know. She had no idea. So she was very shocked when they came to the gathering, and she's seeing the daughter and she's also there at the same time. So this is an opportunity. Jewels of Honor, like Fiona has said, presents an opportunity for us to be able to get into the spaces where we are rescuing girls that have been sexually trafficked, girls that are being sexually exploited, and also women that have been trapped there for years, and giving them alternative business training and helping them to start a life of dignity and even have a home, like transition from living a life that is really accustomed to brothels and the street life to a decent home environment.
Actually, when you get to look at that, is that by the time a woman gets into prostitution, she wants to get a way of living. That means someone is not providing. And most cases, most of these women already have their children with their husbands. So where is the man?
Where is the man?
So that question is what causes most of these women to end up on the streets. Again, they are doing prostitution with men. So that's where I'm seeing Fathers Arise and Remnant Generation, Jewels of Honor complementing each other. So if someone asks a question, like someone may look at this as a fragmenting, but it's not. We're not fragmenting. It's total. There is a lot that we are doing together. Both for the sexually trafficked ladies, and then these girls that have been sexually abused.
Oh, speaking of where is the man, where is the father, or who is that father that actually impregnates his daughter? Where is that man who is 40 years old and he defiles a 15-year-old and he says they were in a consensual relationship? I mean, Remnant Generation comes in at that point. But we need somebody else to be picking up the other end. So Fiona, I know one of the challenges you face is having those phone calls and they're telling you, you know, you just got off a call today and someone is saying, we're in court, the family, we need to do a DNA test because the man is denying paternity. And yet the court needs the paternity test in order to sentence this guy. In the last 4 years that I have been at the Remnant Generation, I think we've only had 2 convictions. What is going on, in your view, that is stopping or that is hindering this, you know, either the cases going forward, or because we get these questions all the time. Where are the men? You keep saying we rescued girls, we rescued girls. Where are the men? What happens? Who deals with them? What happens with them?
I think recently in January, we had an opportunity to partner with Macquarie University to do a research. And one of the questions that we were asking the girls is the fathers. Where are the fathers of the children? And one thing that we realized was that there is a lot of negotiation in families. When a girl is impregnated by a neighbor, by a father, by anyone within the community, there is negotiation that happens. I think the saddest bit of it was when we realized that girls, especially in Luka, are traded for as low as 400,000 shillings. With only 400,000 shillings, a man
400,000 shillings is about $100.
$110.
$110. So the family sells her
Yes.
For
You
$110.
can defile a girl and get away with it, no matter how far the case has gone. Because there are those that have been reported to police, but as when the families just talk about it, they withdraw the case, and then the girl, like, family just agrees. No more, we're not going to talk to this girl. With this 400,000, you're going to be able to look after you, look after the baby, provide everything that is needed. But in reality, $400,000.
For $100.
Right.
Yes, it can barely
It
do
cannot do
anything, not
anything.
even medical support for the baby. So yes, there is that negotiation. Then there is ignorance. Most of our girls are really young, as young as 13, 12, 14. They barely know anything about legal aid.
Yes.
So they end up not reporting. Some keep quiet, and pregnancy will basically go as long as 8 months, and no one in the family knows. You know, first pregnancies rarely show.
Yes.
So by the time the parents realize, the perpetrator has already run off. So there is no one to be brought to book, and that is where fatherlessness all starts from. Yeah, with so many other cases now. For this one, he just trafficked the girl, the one that we have been just talking about. He trafficked her. Good enough, she has been to school. She is learned, so she reasons, and she was able to reason with this man in court, and that is why the case has gone this far, to the point of going for a DNA test. But you know, the guy was advised not to give money, because that is the only way he can get out. He can go away with the case. Yeah. So that is why we are still struggling with who is paying for the DNA, who is doing this, because he's still denying paternity for the child. But the girl is very, very sure that
he's the one.
Yes, he is the one.
Now, speaking of those girls that we're dealing with and we are rescuing, Diana, what are the numbers that we've seen this year? What numbers have we dealt with? The teenage mothers, the babies. Yeah.
Oh yes, Doris, we have reached 1,580 girls and babies this year.
Amen.
Wow.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah.
1,580 girls and babies.
Wow.
Last year,
Yeah.
we had 1,064.
Yeah.
So that is up by, I mean, we're not rejoicing that we have a big number, but it means that our reach, we are going further and beyond.
Yes.
It means that more girls are receiving the support they need. It means that remnant generation is expanding. And in that expansion, that's how we're talking about going east to Luca. Our 5-year plan actually is and still is that in the next 5 years, we should have covered at least all the 5 regions of Uganda. So Luca is in the east. The Ntonde is covering sort of west and central. Then we have Kampala and Wachiso, which is central. So we still have to go north. And proper west. And people have been calling us. People have been calling us.
The temptation to go this last quarter has been so high.
But you know, it doesn't matter how our hearts are big. The need is huge. We want to reach out, even reaching this 1,580 has not been very easy.
No.
But we have had some really good support. We have really had some good support.
Yes.
Who's been supporting the health program, for example?
Impact Nations.
Impact Nations, Ministries,
yes.
International.
Impact Nations is our biggest support. But we also have local partners that we are working with. Yes, we have Rubaga Hospital. We have Bolamu Health Center in the Ntonde. We are also working with Kasambia Health Center for in the Ntonde State, Kalido. We have so many health centers that we're working with in the different regions where we are. The other group that I also want to applaud is the Rotary Club.
The Ntonde.
Yes, Rotary Club of the Ntonde, and many other groups. And
you know, when we talk about partnership, because people think, we get the question a lot, how do you fund this project? And as the director for partnerships and fundraising, I'm always tasked to tell people it's not so much the money, but it is the service that you offer, because that service would have cost us anyway.
Yes.
So if we partner with Ruwaga Hospital, for example, and they say for this girl, the cost is subsidized to this amount,
Yeah.
and we do need the subsidies because the problems that a teenage mother faces are really, really high. We've made new friends when you went to the US. Compel Global.
Yeah.
Isaac mentioned them. Bold City Church.
Yes.
Ethan and Scott and Gracie. They came from New Desert End Church in Arizona. Pulpit Rock Church.
Yay.
Pastor
Jonathan
He
won the
Cleveland.
run.
He won the Father's Run.
Yes.
I mean, Pastor Jonathan, I have to give it to you.
Yeah.
He flew all the way from Colorado to attend our first ever Father's Run.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to win that for the remnant generation.
Yes.
And he did.
And
he did. He was, I think, the second.
Yeah.
Running on crazy Kampala weather, humid, rain. One moment it was raining, the next moment it was sunny, but he ran that race, and there was a whole team that came from Pulpit Rock Church, spent time with us, prayed with us, volunteered, spent time with the boys.
Yes.
They've
Pastor
been
Luke.
teaching them carpentry. Pastor Luke Roblowski and his daughter.
Yes.
It's been amazing, and the support we've also seen locally. So this year we went out on a limb and just said, okay, let's put our feet in the business world and the business community and see what's there. I mean, we're an NGO, everybody will be asking, what are you doing in the business world? So we joined this group called Business Networks International, BNI, and boy, oh boy.
We applaud you, friends.
Wow.
Yes.
They're there for us. We asked them when we're organizing the Father's Run.
Yeah.
They
Came
full short. They fundraised, they ran, they found the money, they gave their services. Wow, it's been amazing.
It's been amazing.
Centenary Foundation just came the other day. Stand Big Bang. Alora. Gosh,
there were
there's so many. I hope we don't forget any. We're going to
bake for me.
Oh, bake for me. Those cakes.
And they have trained some of our beneficiaries.
They've trained our beneficiaries.
New Life Church, Colorado Springs.
Yeah,
New Life
New Life
Church.
Pastor Melton. Something nice is cooking. I'm waiting for the moment to going to ask us what our focus for 2023 is. But
locally, our partners, the Uganda Child Rights Network, that has made sure that our advocacy efforts are at the forefront. The Remnant Generation and AfriChild, the Research Center, our work is always at the forefront. We're being asked to come and speak. Annabelle here does not have a moment anymore to herself. She's either on television or talking to a minister or the First Lady, telling them these are the issues of teenage mothers. Who's these? Crane.
Yes.
Child Rights Action
Children
at Risk
Action
Network.
Yeah.
We also belong to that. Dwelling Places has also come through. It's been wonderful.
great. And I think that is where it is important to have community and partnerships. I mean, many people get to ask us about sustainability and how we really get to do this work. We are not a very big team of staff. Okay, we are a big team. We are a growing team. Last time I checked, we were 33.
Yeah.
And we have a number of people that have come in to volunteer their time and their skills to serve with us. But we cannot do everything. Even if we're a team of 200 people, we cannot serve the whole country. And then we are now, Uganda is in the region. I mean, we are in very many spaces where we are discussing beyond just the Uganda borders. We are discussing the East African community. We are discussing the African Union. And so it is very important that we are able to get to work alongside people that are like-minded to be able to do this work well. We cannot do everything. I mean, in our pursuit for legal services, we have partnered with people, the justice centers, IJM. In our pursuit for ensuring that there is increase in access for healthcare, we are working, like Fiona has shared, with so many different hospitals that have allowed to open safe motherhood spaces in their hospitals for teenage mothers to come and access healthcare. We have had people like Flutter, and under the amazing leadership of our friend Carla, who have donated portable ultrasound scan machines. And on their recent visits, this last week, the other week, somewhere, just recently, they have brought us one of the most, the recent technology of ultrasound, where the probe is just use a probe and a tab, and it's amazing. It has a double probe. I mean, our sonographer Joan was explaining how the whole thing works, and we were amazed. And this equipment literally moves into 2 districts to just go and serve in 8 different safe motherhood spaces, and we've had the opportunity to walk a journey with other people that are coming to do the work that is similar to what the organization is doing. And we are excited and privileged to be able to share what we have learned. We have had people travel all the way from Sierra Leone, and they have spent here a month learning from us. We have people that traveled all the way from Buko, and they literally came and stayed at the TRG offices just to learn from us and what we are doing, and that way we are able to replicate our model of best practices and what is working, share what is not working, and people have taken it, and the stories are amazing. So I am hopeful, I am very encouraged and hopeful that it is very possible for us to spread across Africa through partners, and that way we are able to break this cycle of abuse and turn the stories around.
By the way, Annabelle, I'm reminded of the great support we've had from the government. On the district. So I wouldn't want us to end that.
Even local district has been with us.
We have had a lot of meetings with government leaders, district leadership, especially, I mean, in the districts where we have physical presence, we have had most of our campaigns, really, because they were also stuck. Like, what do we do? We are seeing the numbers of girls increasing that are getting pregnant, dropping out of school. What do we do? And when we present our possible solutions, they have jumped on and they have provided support. It is not financial support, but just coming alongside and just saying, okay, let's talk to the parents, let's go to the schools, let us give you the platforms that you need, and the policies that have been amended. I mean, we have been very humbled to see that our contributions to national policies, our contributions to districts governing documents have been adopted, and for some reason, I think God believes in us and thinks that we have something that we can offer to the nation. This year, we have really been humbled. We have received 5 awards.
Wow. We were not even counting.
We have received
and
5 awards.
And some of them monetary too.
And some of them, of course, like some of them have come with an award, a recognition, of course, a plaque and a beautiful award that we are hanging on the wall or putting in the office somewhere. And then it has also come with a financial gift alongside that. We are very thankful for being recognized as except for the exceptional leadership and community transformation under the ACT Award with Transform Leaders Gathering that is held and hosted by Worship Harvest Ministries under the amazing leadership of Apostle Mose and Pastor Ari. We were recognized by Children at Risk Action Network as because of our model for safe spaces that we have created for teenage mothers in the community and in the shelters. So we want to really celebrate that and the team that have been working. We were recognized by the Virtuous Woman under Christ Heart Ministries, and yours truly Yours truly was recognized as a woman, outstanding women of influence. I got to be to that space and representing all of you. It's been such an honor. We were recognized under UCRNN, and you know, for the exceptional contribution that we are bringing in the space of child protection and safeguarding. And there's just so many opportunities. We've been onto the national dialogue to discuss the budget allocation for Uganda towards the issues of child protection, and our views have been taken in by the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Gender, and I have been into follow-up meetings after that to just make sure that they are appreciating and understanding these context, you know, the issues in context. So it's those are things we cannot take for granted, because 8 years ago we made 8 years this year. 8 years ago, when Women Generation started in a very humble, you know, security guard, one room office. I think it really started in our house. But those years are never counted. You need to start counting those years. Why don't they count
I used
those
to
years?
go out of my living room
to
the bedroom, so that
Remnant generation could work.
And you know, we were also recognized by the Antonga district.
Twice. Wow. Like you said, we are supposed to be life-giving. So it's always difficult when we lose a life. I think we're kind of like doctors, eh? I'm sort of now beginning to understand.
That's why most of our beneficiaries actually call us
Basawa. Meaning doctors or nurses. Because sometimes you think that probably the doctor sees so many deaths, he or she stops to feel, but they actually feel for all their patients that pass on, and each of them affects them differently. I think, anyway, while we talk about death, we're here to celebrate 2022. So.
And by the way, this calls for a lot of prayers from our partners, because I remember when we lost one of the babies, one of our nurses kept on blaming herself. She thought she was the cause of this death. So it calls for a lot of prayers for the team that is actually directly serving these girls. Because, it can never be easy.
It's not easy. But all in all, we thank God. It's been a great year. It's been an amazing year. I just want to quickly do one highlight for each one of you for this year. I'll do mine first before any of you steals it. It was the Father's Run. The Father's Run for me, with my leg up in a cast on a chair and my crutches jumping up and down. That was unique. On Saturday, I happened to be with about 4 of the fathers who ran that Father's Run, and they all asked me, "Are you doing it again next year?"
And you said,
yes. It's annual. We're doing it again.
And guess what?
And we have a sponsor.
Please
say that.
We have the Father's Run edition, USA.
Where? Colorado?
In Colorado Springs.
There you go.
Even Evan Money. Evan Money is also rallying up men to make sure that this happens. I think in California.
Yes.
So it looks like it's going to be a big thing.
We look forward to it.
That was my highlight, and I'm looking forward to it next year. I don't know how I'll participate, but I'm gonna be there.
You're gonna be there.
I'll go second. Acquiring the office space in Kampala. No more rent. Staff have enough space to sit and do their work
and be creative.
Thank you,
Fiona.
I have 2. Is it okay?
Okay.
Yeah, it's very okay. First is the 2 cases. Two cases. We had 2 cases in court, and all of them were convicted. I think that is my highest. And then the second is that last year we had a camp for Jewels of Honor.
Yes.
And we just came up with that word, Jewels of Honor. We don't know what else was coming, and then all of a sudden this year we get partners that are willing to fund it, and now we have the shelter running. We have one in Kampala, then we have a program in the Antonde. What a blessing!
What a blessing!
Isaac, your highlights.
Oh yes, my highlight this year has been the wood art. The wood art.
Oh, that work is amazing.
The wood art is growing. The boys are doing amazing things. They just made a Christmas tree. When I look at it, I was like, wow, this is being creative.
It's in our office.
It looks so lovely.
I just found it in our office.
Yeah, so then we also have the digital skilling, which also is quite amazing. What is coming out of it? The boys have learned a lot, videography, photography, and all of those kind of skills. So we thank God so much for what He's doing in Fathers Arise. Yeah.
Amen. And Annabelle, you're closing.
I'm closing this. My highlights. One of my highlights is Maria. Maria is a girl that has gone through the 360 degrees of the remnant generation. Rescued, rejected by family. She came into the shelter in 2017, and she was able to give birth to her baby. She was going through a lot of depression. She struggled with a lot of depression, and she was able to get healed, and then she joined the School of Purpose. And when she joined the School of Purpose, she joined the hair, dressing class. But she was very passionate about everything. She literally learned every skill, and she learned it so well that she started being a junior trainer. Alongside the trainers. We tried resettlement, and resettlement failed. So she's one of those girls where we took her back home, and the family literally abused her again, and we had to pick her up and bring her back to the shelter. And but this girl literally was determined to have a different life, and she's been one of the most well-behaved girls we've served. Very hardworking, and guess what? Towards the end of 2021, she moved out and into independent living. She was able to join the team at the Remnant Generation as a staff, and in the role of trainer. And then very soon, she, because of her diligence and hard work, she was already leading the team of trainers, and now leading our community-based training model, which we call the Mobile School of Purpose. Going to the different communities. I mean, they spent months in the Antonde training, and then they go to the different places. Whether it is raining or shining, she's always there training the girls in the community. And they have served, a lot of girls. This year alone, they skilled over 750 girls that we have been able to provide skilling for in our community-based skilling model. And guess what? Just, about a week ago, Maria comes and she's all happy, tears running through her eyes. And she's able to say, Mom, I have acquired my piece of land. This mother, is a happy mother. Is a happy mother. I'm so proud. She was able to acquire her piece of land. She's a foster parent. She was, when she moved out, she asked to move in with one of the girls that didn't have, her family was also literally bouncing her back and forth, and then she took her in. Her daughter Miracle is in school, and guess who is paying the school fees? Maria is. So one of my biggest highlights has been that Maria, and then the other highlight has been the girls that have been able to rejoin school, and they're excelling. We have candidates that have sat for senior 4 and P7, and then they're literally excelling. They are A grade students, and what a blessing to see that teenage mothers can actually thrive. My other highlight has been the miracle of Benna's leg. So Benna is this girl that had an infection when she was a child that affected her leg, and it started rotting away. And then she had challenges with just later. I think she's a sickle cell sickler, and then so she was really struggling with health and everything. So she got abused by a man in her community, and somehow the case was reported. She ended up in the shelter, but she was really struggling to stand. And during the journey of compassion, we had a team that came and they prayed for Benna's leg.
Yeah.
She was supposed to go for a surgery at Kosu that was going to cost us over $15,000.
Wow.
And guess what? They went back for the review that was supposed to tell us when Benna should go in for the surgery and also to check the extent of the damage. And there was no infection.
way.
Infection gone.
No
Completely
way.
healed.
Wow.
We were screaming. We looked at the x-rays and we looked at the original x-ray and the other x-ray, and the two were not matching. So there was, at Remnant Generation, when God performs a miracle, we go crazy. We scream. So we were running around and shouting and screaming. That was, I have seen miracles. I know God is there, but that miracle was
Mind-blowing.
yeah,
Wow.
mind-blowing. Just looking at the journey, and 8 years ago, how these were just dreams, and maybe the whole vision and had not really come clearly, but just realizing that people have believed and have walked this journey with us, and that we have continued to steward that which God has entrusted us with. And I want to celebrate the ladies and gentlemen that are seated here with me, and as part of the strong pillars of the Remnant Generation. I get to share the limelight many times, but people don't get to see the real heroes and the sheroes behind this work. And so I get to receive the awards. I get to be the one to attend the high-end meetings. That is going to change in a very short while. But I am really, really thankful for the amazing pillars that are holding this ministry together. Fiona has been here the longest. She's been with us for 8 solid years. And she's served in all capacities. As a mother, as a social worker, as a healthcare coordinator, everything. And she's still here, and now she's really making sure that strategically we are still grounded and growing. Diana is been with the Remnant Generation way before it started, even with an office. She was among the first volunteers with the Remnant Generation, going out with me in schools and communities, as when we had nothing. All we had was a projector and stories, our personal life stories. And she was always the one bringing the vibe and making sure that the outreaches are fun, and fundraising for Pampers, and see what the Lord has done 8 years later. Doris here met us when we hardly knew what it means to have a strategic plan, and we had so many big dreams, but we didn't know how to bring them into structure, and where we are able to monitor and evaluate our progress and growth, and how to find our foot into especially the local spaces. And she's done an amazing job with partnerships and fundraising, making sure that the doors are opening for us in all these spaces. And I'm just very appreciative and that she's transitioning from just being a staff member of the Remnant Generation. This is her final year of serving as part of the team, but she's transitioning to a place where she's now going to be able to do more to serve the Remnant Generation at a governance level, and then really just being open and available to continue to further the mission in a broader space. So we are grateful for that, for your time with us, and for the opportunities that God is opening up. And I really want to celebrate Mr. Mukisa, who has been the wind beneath my wings, the one that is really always cushioning and shouldering, and just being a very great support system. And behind us, there is a team of those amazing heroes, the staff the mothers, the midwives, the social workers, the counselors, the trainers, the security guards, the people that are in the courts of law, like right now, where we have a case going on, that are doing everything to serve. And so as you support the remnant generation, you know that you're supporting a team of committed people that are on the ground every day, giving their best to see that we are building a better community and society for girls that are survivors of sexual abuse and teenage mothers. And we are doing a lot to restore the honor of men and fatherhood. And prayerfully, one day, we shall see a society that is safe for families to thrive. So I just really want to celebrate that moment and what the Lord has done through all of us. Thank you, ladies.
So one of my other highlights was Hope City.
Hey.
Hope City, wow. We went away on a retreat. We dreamt about this space. We actually dreamt. We closed our eyes and dreamt. Even now I'm closing my eyes. And I thought of this place, a land or a space where girls could come, be restored, receive love, healing, training, and that space would just be really like a healing space, but a huge space. So we called it Hope City. We put it on paper, and as God would have it, when we put it on paper, someone else saw it, saw the vision with us, and they said, "This is my thing."
Yeah.
And then then they told us, "Go out there and look for the land."
Yes.
We walked out in faith to look for maybe 5 acres of land. We saw 20.
Yeah.
And we said, "This is our land." And we had no idea how it was going to be funded. We were like, "God, you brought us here. You showed us this 20 acres of land. This is Hope City." Annabelle stood on an anthill, prophesied over it, had babies' voices. We came out singing praises.
Yes.
And Hope City first of all, has become our food basket.
Yes.
We do not, we like, what do we buy now? Sugar and oil?
Yeah, and rice and
maybe rices. We can't farm rice, but we could try.
And baby formula.
And baby formula.
And other things.
But bananas, what we call matoke, sweet potatoes, veggies, everything is coming from Hope City.
Yeah.
And then we shared our dream for that bigger picture with another group, Engineering Missions International, EMI. And we found out they were just based right here in Kajansi, in Kampala. And I mean, EMI, Annabelle, I'll let you talk about EMI because the job they did
was amazing. So we got linked to EMI through a friend called Mark Dunn.
Yes.
And he were able to put in an application for them to be able to help us design the concept of Hope City. And they traveled, engineers and experts from different countries traveled to Uganda for 2 solid weeks. Volunteering. And they came on the ground, slept at the office, and went out to the field, and they were able to come up with a master plan. And as we speak now, our master plan for the Hope City is ready, and we are grateful to Mark Dunn and all our friends at Abba's Arms that enabled us to acquire the land and also to get the master plan, and then EMI for putting our dreams and hopes into reality where we are able to see it. And so moving forward to 2023 we are excited about how this whole dream is going to morph, just starting to talk about it and push it and seeing how God is growing, funding and support coming towards the accomplishment of that dream. Awesome. And finally, God has given us people that believe in us. I am very, very thankful. It's one thing to have a vision. It's another thing for people to believe in the vision that God has given you. And I really want to celebrate all our partners in the USA, in Uganda, and other countries that we are yet to name that have come alongside us to support us financially. And this video is really coming out to you. All that we are sharing, everything that we have said, couldn't be possible without you. You are God's arms and legs, and even when you are not here every day with us as we rescue, restore, and empower survivors of sexual abuse to thrive according to God's plan for their lives, we want you to know that your giving, your love, and your prayers are here with us on a daily. So I want to thank you, and from all of us, on behalf of the staff, on behalf of the board of directors, on behalf of the communities that we are serving, the families that will never meet you, we want to say that we wish you
a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year!
Feliz Navidad, próspero año y felicidad. ¡Ajá! Feliz Navidad.